Hey you guys, what's up? This is KShire22 here, and I am showing you guys a new ethical hacking video on how we can raise our limits within networks. Today what I'll be demonstrating is basically how to get off the administrator's monitor. And so you're probably a little confused, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate it right off the bat. And I'm going to be actually teaching how this is done very simply, because anybody really could have thought of this. Okay, so let's say you're in your workplace. These are all you and your friends and whoever's computers, but your administrator's computers are right here, and they can see everyone's screen. They can see what you're doing. They have logs being performed. Everything is being traced and back to them. So basically, overall, they're watching you. And so how to get off the radar in this kind of a situation is actually fairly simple. So this circled computer right here, we're going to pretend this is you and that's your boss. So basically your computers are facing away from each other, so this is going to be a little bit more simpler. So first you need to determine, are you using Wi-Fi, are you using Ethernet, or are you using some kind of alienist, like weird connection to get to the administrator? Well, more commonly, it's probably going to be the Ethernet option. And so basically what you're going to do is you're going to reach around the back of your computer and disconnect the white, the blue, or whatever cord it is. But it should say Ethernet. If it doesn't, it'll have like a little symbol for Ethernet. I hope you guys know what that is. If not, just Google it. You'll figure it out. But disconnect from the Ethernet by unplugging it, and just unplug it a little bit. So that way, whoever walks past, they're not going to be suspicious that it's unplugged, this, or that. Second of all, you may have a Cat 6, a Cat 5, or a Cat E. It does not matter. So after you disable your Ethernet by unplugging it, you're going to want to check your connection again at the very bottom. And then all of a sudden you realize you're over on Wi-Fi. Like, how did that happen? Well, typically, whenever you're connected on Ethernet, your computer is going to switch from Wi-Fi to Ethernet just because the Ethernet connection is a lot stronger. So when you unplug your Ethernet, it's going to switch back to Wi-Fi. So then you're still connected to the administrator and the entire network. So then you have to disable it by just simply, on Windows 10, you would just hit the airplane mode. On a Windows 7 computer, which is what these computers I would assume have, you just basically hit disconnect, leave, or whatever. Leave the network, the Wi-Fi. Just disconnect. After you've done that, basically the administrator should not be able to see your screen. However, logs can still be performed. Antivirus can still track any kind of stuff that you're going to try loading up on this. It could be games, it could be viruses, it could be whatever you want it to be. Or you could just kind of use this as like a thing where you could improve the network, which is what we're all about, is ethical hacking. And so by this, just this theory right here, the administrator computers by default, they're going to just think that the computer's off, and so the administrator may not see your name on the list of computers open. And so that way, if you have a person open next to you with their computer off, sign into their computer and just be like, yeah, hey, I'm just doing something, you know. Also, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that nobody's around you watching you. If you do, just do it slightly, like act like something's wrong and then you disconnect, something like that. You can make up a whole scenario. Make sure you have a backup plan, like 3 backup plans in case something happens. You want to do this very safely in any kind of situation, whether it's good or bad. So before actually performing this, you guys, you should know the end result of doing this on a private network. It could just result with some undesired consequences. One of them may be, if you're at school, you could be getting suspended. You may lose all computer use inside the school. They may block you from the entire network afterwards, your phones, your computers, everything. They could probably even bring you to court depending what you did off the monitor. If you're at work, you could lose your job as well. You should study the network before you attempt doing this, like what kind of tools that they're using and like what kind of monitoring software, how they're monitoring it. You should look at the way that their network's set up. And so I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next step. That was just step A, you guys, just disconnecting any Ethernet or wireless connection. The second one, after disconnecting Ethernet and wireless connection, you should run Task Manager. And the simple way to do this is Control-Shift-Escape. And then it will pull up a list of all the tasks. Now, basically, you can go through all of these names and just see what kind of antivirus they might have, any kind of strange software that they have on there. They could have some logging software, maybe a keylogger, who knows? It's a school, they own the network, so it could literally be anything on here. Now, however, with my school's network, they disable Task Manager, and so what you would have to do from there is go on to B2, which is use command prompt as a last resort. So what it looks like to use command prompt, you just hit Windows R, you just type in command CMD, and you will have this list pop up. And now we have a list of these commands right here that we can type in. Basically, the most simple one that you just need is task list. And here we have a list of all the tasks running on the computer along with their memory usage and their PID for the moment. PIDs do change. You'll notice that when you're programming and stuff like that. But so here's a list of all of these, and what I would do if I'm on the computer, I would copy all of this. What the heck? And then I would open up a notepad and just paste it all in there, save it, and put it on my flash drive. The reason for that is just because that way I can go home and then look at the data and I can be done and over with for the day. Another thing that might be useful to collect for data is just netstat. And then another one would just be going through all of these commands, seeing what they provide for you. I would do the SVC because that also provides even more information. So task list slash SVC. Maybe, yeah, this is the one that I wanted. This one right here, SVC, does provide quite a bit of information. And then there was one more M. So task list slash M. And what I like about this one, it shows all the DLLs that are running, all the EXEs, just basically everything that's running. It's going to show the files and everything. And so all this information, what I would do, like I said, copy, control, alt, control, copy, paste it in here. If you have problems copying and pasting that, there's actually on Windows 7, what you would do is you would go up here, you would hit edit, mark, and then you would hit copy after you're done marking it all. So yeah, that's B2, you guys. Make sure that you literally disable all the antivirus, all the firewall, all the loggers, because if you don't do that, you're not off the monitor, you guys. And so now step C is Hacksense. You can use it to find tasks, firewall info, and advanced information that's stored on the computer. So let's go ahead and look at what Hacksense can really do. So if we go ahead and go, well, if we want to download it, we can go to my website, which is kshadow22.com. This is a program that I've built and I've designed just like perfectly. It soon will have updates. I don't know when. I'm not working on it right now, to be honest. So just go over to the download section, and the first program you'll see is Hacksense, hacking at a legal level. Now what this program does is when you have to run this on your USB. Here's another tip that I should have wrote down. If you want to run a program on the school's computer or the work's computer, do not run it on the actual computer itself. Run it on your USB. If you copy and paste that over the computer, you are dumb. If you run it on the computer, you are dumb. Run it off of the USB. So what I mean by that is, so let's say I'm going to plug in my external hard drive right now, which could act as a USB. So this PC. So now I would want to run the program off of this. So literally going into it and then running the program. Which I don't know why it's being so freaking slow. So I hope you guys know what I mean by that. So here's how you can use Hacksense legally. You can get your USB, run the Hacksense on the USB, and then open up Hacksense Reader, and you can read all the information on that computer. But now if you unplug your flash drive, it is illegal because you're stealing information about that computer, technically. So what you can do is you can delete that file and you're solid and it's legal. So just remember that as soon as you unplug your USB, it's illegal because that information is leaving that computer. So what kind of information does Hacksense actually run? Well, let's check that out really quick. Alright, here's my Hacksense program. If I were to run it right now, it would run. I could also do my Hacksense read, and that would read everything that I pretty much ran this program on. But I'm not going to do that because that's very sensitive information, you guys. But here, if we go to the database, we can see what's actually running in our command line. So, what kind of information we're getting? We are getting the task list. So this program, if we wanted to run this instead of typing in the commands, we could do that. It's going to get information about the system, the IP configuration. There's a lot of codes that a lot of people don't know about, but it's going to get information about how the computer's locking, driver information. It's going to get the MAC address, the IP address, the ports that are open at the moment. There's just theoretically, if you have a port number, a MAC address, and an IP address, you can have access to that computer. So this program provides way more than enough information. What I mean by that, so if we have WMIC OS get version, we're getting the operating system version. Then right after that, we're running the same code, WMIC free physical memory. That's going to tell us how much free memory that there is, and then free virtual, last boot up time, number of processes, the status. So this program, Hacksense, I'm not kidding, it will get the job done. It will give you more than enough information. It actually will display it nicely in sections, and it's very, very nice. So just make sure you run it on a USB. So the last part D, I'm not going to touch on very much because it's super complex, and it would be like a 2-hour long video if I did that. So if you guys wanted access to the workplace or the schools or the private networks database and their server and all that kind of information from your computer, honestly, I'm 90% sure your MAC address, your IP, your username, all that's already pre-blocked from the school server, and only a few are going to get through. And so what a proxy and a tunnel is basically changing those names, changing certain information to look like someone else's, so that way you can get access. And so that's where that can become very advanced in knowing how to do that. So I'm not going to touch on that. So let's go ahead and just do an overview of what this all is, just to make sure you guys get a full, clear understanding of all this. So step A, basically just unplug your Ethernet and make sure you're not connected over Wi-Fi. B, run Task Manager to delete any processes, to see what kind of antiviruses and monitoring software you need to get rid of. And I don't mean uninstall them, because they will go on that computer later on and see that they were uninstalled, and they will flip. What I mean is you just disable them simply by just hitting Control-Shift-Escape and task. So basically just end the task, and it will reboot the next time you reboot your computer. So if you can't access Task Manager, try Command Prompt. If you're having problems with that, go ahead and try Hacksense. Though I would say do step A and do step C 100% sure, because once you Hacksense only takes about 30 seconds to retrieve all that information on a typical computer. And so it's so powerful, you guys. Like, the information that will last forever. And here's another thing that you can do with Hacksense just as well. So let's say you're at this computer, but honestly, you know that this computer is computer 1. And then this is computer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is computer 12, going from down order. And so what you can actually do is, what I would do is I would try to get this kind of a setup. I would run Hacksense here, then Hacksense here. And so what this is going to look like, if I were to label these, this is my computer 1, this is my computer 12, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. This is my 30 computer. So what this is going to look like, I'm going to have statistics from 1, 12 to 30, and I can actually create graphs and charts and all sorts of information using Hacksense to see how these computers gradually change information. And I could guess information about these other computers and the way that they're running. However, if the administrator has them all like random and garbled and all that, you're not going to find much out. But more than likely they're probably organized about it, so you'll be able to figure it out. So that's all for this video, guys. If you have any more questions or requests, comment below, please. Like, request stuff, because I don't know what to post, because I like everything, and I find this very awesome, because I was just sitting in class the other day, and I'm like, you know, this isn't very secure, because all you really have to do is unplug the Ethernet cord. The school's computers don't even have Wi-Fi, and so it's just like, it seemed very simple. And so yeah, I just decided to share this with you guys today. And tell me if you guys like it. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.